Today we're going to look at functions and derivatives when you're given a table of values as opposed to a graph or an analytic equation. I'm going to use a problem from your packet from the OSDB Zorn book. This is page 70, number 34. We're supposed to assume that f is a continuous function and defined on the closed interval -3 to 3, and there's two specific values given. Furthermore, you're supposed to assume that f prime and f double prime are continuous on the entire interval. The information in the table shows all of the values that you need to know about the function. The one thing that's a little confusing in the textbook where this is from, the chart continues on to the next line just as a space-saving feature. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and change that so that the bottom part of the table is actually aligning in the top. So it looks a little bit better this way. You can follow it across a little bit easier whenever it's written like this. Okay, so the first thing we need to think about is how are we going to convert this into sign charts like we have with graphs and regular equations? And the answer is the same way we did before. I'm going to start by finding the critical points. Now, if you remember, critical points are found in two different ways. Places where the actual derivative is 0 and where the derivative is undefined. So those are the same things I'm looking for in a table, just in a different way. So here in the table, I'm looking for places where the derivative is actually 0. The derivative is the middle row. So here's a 0, and here's another one. The x-coordinates that are creating those zeros are -1 and 1. So those are going to be the tick marks in my chart. Okay, now I need to find out the signs in between. Before -1, this is positive. In between -1 and 1, you'll see the entire place in there is negative. After 1, it's negative. Now keep in mind, this is a closed interval, so this actually stops at 3 and starts at -3. I'm going to do the same thing for the second derivative, trying to find out where the zeros or undefineds are first. Here we have two zeros. One occurs at 0, the other one at 1. Now in between those values, before 0, you'll see all of that is negative. Between 0 and 1, it's positive, and after 1, it's negative. This also is on a closed interval, so I'm going to go ahead and record that on the chart. In listing all of the information, we'll do it the same way as before. Just remember, this is the same type of sign chart, just being given different information. So it's increasing wherever we see pluses. Decreasing where there's minuses. There's a max at -1, but no min. Concave up occurs where there's a plus. Concave down is where there's negatives. And finally, there's 2 points of inflection, places where concavity changes, at 0 and at 1. So there we have it. We're able to do the same thing with a chart.